What if your next seven-figure product launch did not come from Amazon, but from TikTok Shop? Today's guest is going to show us how to make that happen. Welcome to the Ecomm Breakthrough Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Hadley. I scaled my own brand from 0 to 8 figures in sales, and now my mission is to take it to over 9 figures in sales. On my journey to 9 figures, I bring you unfiltered conversations with some of the smartest minds in e-commerce. Past guests include Kevin King, Ezra Firestone, and Michael E. Gerber, author of The E-Myth. Today on the Ecomm Breakthrough Podcast, I'm thrilled to welcome a true expert in the world of social commerce, Michelle Barnum-Smith. Michelle is the founder of TT Shop Sellers and one of the leading voices when it comes to helping e-commerce brands unlock the massive potential of TikTok Shop. With years of marketing experience under her belt and a track record of guiding sellers through the ever-changing world of online retail, Michelle has become a go-to strategist for e-com sellers looking to diversify their revenue, scale to new channels, and build sustainable growth strategies. With that introduction, welcome to the show, Michelle.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Michelle, it's an honor to have you on the show. I know we crossed paths at many events, and so you are well known in the e-commerce space as the go-to TikTok Shop expert. And so I'm grateful to have you on the show today. And Michelle, I want to dive straight into this thing and say, what is going on in the world of TikTok Shop? We're into a brand new year here, and TikTok Shop has been evolving very quickly. It's only been around for just a few short years, but man, it has changed dramatically over those short years. So, Michelle, I think the big question on everybody's mind is like, what's working on TikTok Shop today? And if I'm an e-commerce seller, how do I actually have success there?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we've just had a massive Q4 and TikTok Shop proves yet again that they are a player in this space, not just another marketplace, but a definer of marketplaces and a beneficiary of all marketplaces. I don't think that TikTok truly competes with anybody. I think that they complement everyone because they're top of funnel. And from a marketing perspective, what can be better for sellers than to actually be able to have a platform in which they can quickly build their brand and have multiple ways to benefit from that brand building, whether that's Amazon, their own D2C, or of course TikTok Shop as well. So TikTok, is a great equal opportunity platform no matter where a seller sells through.
I love it. And I couldn't agree more. I think it is very different. I don't think it's necessarily competing with Amazon. It's not competing with Walmart. Like, it is its own beast. And as you mentioned, I think it's one of the best ways to just create brand awareness there's never been an arbitrage opportunity like there is now. Maybe if you were to go back to the Facebook ad days of the early 2000s and 2010s, that's when Facebook ads were cheap and there was a good arbitrage opportunity there to like get a lot of exposure, relatively cheap cost. That's back, but it's in the form of TikTok Shop right now. Michelle, talk to me about, there's been a number of sellers that have experimented on the platform and they're like, oh, I haven't been able to figure it out for my brand. I think most sellers at this point have probably tried to dip their toe in the water. They've either done it themselves or they've even gone with an agency and they're like, yeah, the agency did nothing. I just lost a lot of money. I hear that story probably more often than I hear people, oh, I'm just absolutely crushing it and making a crap load of money on TikTok Shop. What's been your experience? What are you hearing from sellers? Are they winning? Are they losing? And why?
Yeah, so there is a variety of results that people are getting, right? And I think especially when sellers are approaching TikTok from an expansion standpoint, they're treating it like any other expansion strategy, whether that's cross cross channel in the form of like you're on Amazon.com and now you want to be on .ca or .uk or whatever it might be, or you're thinking about it from an additional marketplace perspective, like you're on Amazon, but now you're expanding to Walmart or you're expanding to, Etsy or eBay or one of the other platforms. It is not the same. It is not the same kind of marketplace expansion strategy that you apply to any other search-based marketplace, right? That's the difference, is that TikTok Shop is not a bottom of funnel. Somebody's already aware that they have a need and they're searching for a solution. TikTok is a social platform first. It's an entertainment destination for people. And sellers that I see struggling with TikTok Shop, what they're struggling with is a combination of understanding how to sell on the platform in a way that's efficient. So kind of the first thing that if I'm helping sellers diagnose a problem is sometimes the problem is your baby's ugly, guys. Like sometimes your product is not right for the platform. Now, I know that there are some sellers that believe that any product is right for TikTok Shop, but I will tell you that is not the case. That is not true just because of how the platform functions straight out the gate. Because it's a top of funnel platform and people are on the platform for entertainment, not for purchasing, not for buying. When somebody opens TikTok, and there's all sorts of data to prove this, the reason that they're on the platform in the first place is because they have a moment in time that they are trying to fill. They're in line at the grocery store. They're waiting at a stoplight. They are, checking out at their son's soccer game, like whatever it means, whatever it looks like. They're there to scroll. They're not necessarily there to buy. Now, because once again, if they knew that they wanted to buy something, where would they be? Where would they be, Josh?
They would be on Amazon.
Right, exactly. So we have to stay connected to the reason why people are on the platform in the first place, which is that entertainment, mentally taking a break purpose, right? And creating content and focusing on content creation that is relevant and connects with the why that somebody's on the platform. I'm not saying that you have to create a whole bunch of like crazy entertainment based content or anything like that, but you have to remember why somebody's on the platform in the first place, because it's not to buy. It's not to buy. And so what happens is that a lot of sellers, when they're getting started on TikTok, they'll bring over their entire product catalog. I will not tell you how many times I've talked to sellers of every shape and size, and everything that they have to offer on Amazon or on D2C, they are selling on TikTok Shop. And I think there's a huge disconnect between like the reality of how people actually shop on the platform and how somebody goes about actually buying something on the platform. 90% of the time, I will say even up to 99% of the time, somebody is buying because they have seen a video. That is the main discovery mechanism. And so when you have sellers who are bringing over their entire catalog, they're basically like dispersing their energy, right? Like if you want momentum for your listings and you're recruiting affiliates and things like that, and you're like the creepy watch salesman on the corner that's like, what do you want? I got everything for you, and you're telling, affiliates or content creators or whatever to, pick something up from our vast catalog. Like you're not creating focus for what customers need to be and creators need to be focusing on. When I tell sellers, I'm like, listen, every listing that you have up here, no one's going to buy anything unless you have minimum 500 pieces of content and you're running ads for at least 3 months minimum to get started. Are you going to do that for every single one of your listings? And you see kind of like the lights turn on. They're like, holy crap. No. Right. I'm like, okay, let's create some focus. What is the right product strategy to actually go to market with? And sometimes TikTok is like, hey, when they are teaching sellers to onboard, they're like, yeah, just bring over your whole catalog. But they're doing a disservice to sellers by telling them that, hey, just connect your Amazon account to TikTok or connect your Shopify account to TikTok. It's a huge disservice, because really there needs to be product strategy first and foremost, and making sure that you're creating focus and that you have the right product that you're focusing on in the first place.
I love it. So, Michelle, let's say you've got an Amazon seller that has 100 different products in their catalog right now, and they're hearing you and they're like, okay, so how do I decide what are my top, like, is it just one? Are you saying focus on one? Would you bring over 3? And then I love that you had kind of like metrics of like, are you willing to put ad spend behind this for 3 months, and how many samples should I allocate, and et cetera. Why don't you walk me through kind of your recommendations for that seller?
Yeah. So I have these conversations all the time where like they do have 100 products, sometimes 1,000 products, and that, that might include variations, right? So I had this conversation with a seller last week, and my recommendations first and foremost is identifying your most TikTokable products. Like, what of your products here meet the best kind of TikTokability requirements? In the case of this seller, they had some sheets, they had some bedding, like beds in the bag, they had kitchen curtains, and they had chair cushions, like kitchen table chair cushions. And I'm like, no, no, and no. Like, nobody is on TikTok to buy kitchen fashion. We'll say that. Like, the chair cushions are an absolute like no, like from a demonstrability standpoint. Yeah, like okay. So my 5 filters of TikTokability. Number one is demonstrability. Can it easily be demonstrated? Yes. Can you plop down kitchen cushions on a chair? Sure. Yes. Can you show the different designs and all of those things? Yeah, absolutely. So demonstrability, check. Does it have unique features? Sure. You can be talking about like, the memory foam and the waterproofing and the different colors and different styles. Number 3, does it serve a passionate niche? No. So like somebody who's really interested in kitchen cushions, probably not the case. Number 5, does it solve a problem? Kitchen cushions, possibly. Yes. But mostly it's home fashion, right? And it's a specific look and feel and specific design. And then the 5th filter is impulse buying. Is it priced in that $30 to $50 range? Each one of these cushions I think was $30 in and of itself. So a whole set was, upwards of over $100 depending on the, size and style. So it's really kind of making sure that your products, that there is that TikTokability kind of nature. I would argue that people are not on the platform to buy kitchen cushions, right? Now, they did have some really interesting seasonal products that lent itself to kind of like, like in the case of the sheets, they had some cooling sheets, but they also had some flannel sheets, which, were in the winter months. There's like, it solves that strong need, that strong problem right now. People are cold when they go to sleep, those types of things. But their price point on the sheets was more premium. And once again, people are there to impulse buy. You get to a certain point where people are going to shop it, right? They're like, well, do I need these flannel sheets, or do I want to go to Amazon and see all the flannel sheets, right? We don't want that to happen. We do want that to happen because we love halo effect, but we don't want them to shop us in such like a, competitive, super competitive categories. So the first thing is identifying the right product and the right product strategy to go to market with. At the end of the day, we selected their beds in a bag, as like the most kind of TikTokable product. It had a good price point and had some unique designs that, had some seasonality that we could capitalize on. I will say, Josh, though, kind of a little secret hack is that TikTok is a really great place to liquidate inventory. Now, I don't like to liquidate for the sake of, just blowing inventory out. I want to use that inventory to build momentum for an existing listing or something like that. But let's say that I have, a product that I invested heavily in for Q4 and it didn't take on Amazon or D2C or any of my other platforms. TikTok can be a great place to blow that inventory out and to use kind of liquidation strategies. And we did this last Q1 for some of my sellers. And not only did it go crazy, absolutely nuts, because, we're being aggressive in our pricing. It's a low risk for us, we're not trying to make this profitable. We're just trying to like blow out some inventory, reduce storage fees, all of those various kind of things. But because we had it as a variant for a longer lasting ASIN or listing, for lack of a better term, it was able to build momentum for the overall listing. And we were able to like incrementally raise the price and start running ads to it in such a way that, lo and behold, it became a TikTok only product. like it was selling so well that once we were able to kind of like bring down the storage fees on Amazon, we were able to get product into FBT. We flipped it, it became a profitable product. And we were able to not only resurrect that product, but then build variants on top of it that also could, benefit from that kind of long-term use of the content. It's kind of a mad world, TikTok, from that perspective.
Interesting. I love that. I love the inventory liquidation opportunity there. So walk me through that. Like, so what does that mean? You had this stale product that had been sitting on the shelves of Amazon for a long time. What was your strategy? Did you already have a lot of existing affiliates? You reached out to them, hey, who wants this product? And then did you have just like a dirt bottom price on it where you were fine even just like breaking even on the seller fees and whatnot on TikTok shop? Walk me through, like, how did that actually work to where it gained enough momentum to where you're like, actually, this can stay around?